This video isn't solely about organized stalking or gang stalking, but just some of my views and opinions on the topic at hand. I just had to give that disclaimer real quick. Um, to anybody watching this video, that's what I'm gonna speak on, but I just wanted to say that I think that a lot of these towns and places, especially being a targeted individual or somebody who's experienced this sort of, you know, pushback and this harassment and this organized, effort to try to undermine your life and the people who come against you, just in different forms, really. And that's not adopting a victim mentality. That's just telling things how it is. At least from my experience, that's just me telling what I've realized and what I've noticed with so much opposition that has tried really hard to make itself known, that they're opposing my existence or my life or trying to impede on my free will. What I've realized is that I think a lot of these towns, especially when you're a TI or you're an individual who is very tuned in and tapped in to existence and life itself, especially if you got a calling on your life or you got some type of faith and you're connected to Source, the Most High. I think that a lot of these towns, on the surface, a lot of people in these towns, especially small towns, when you're experiencing these type of things, a lot of these people on the surface like to act like regular people. They like to act like, they would never do such a thing. These are good people, and they try to be so-called normal. But from what I've seen going through this and experiencing this, I think that a lot of these towns, there's a lot of strongholds on them. And when I say strongholds, I'm talking about in a spiritual sense where it's almost as if, it's like this spirit of hate, jealousy, envy, um, misery, because it's a lot, excuse me, it's a lot of miserable people. That's all perps are. That's all people in hate groups and gossip groups are. They consist of miserable people that put a lot of effort in projecting, their lower level spirits and, their misery, which a lot of these people, to go against somebody's life and speak against somebody's life and wish bad upon another individual, that's kind of like committing murder, but in the spirit. You know what I mean? That may attempt to manifest into the physical. So in this video, I'm speaking in a spiritual sense. And what I've realized is just from observing, the environment and the type of people and the type of spirit the majority of the people in my environment and where I'm at carry, it's a very hateful spirit. It's a very cold-hearted spirit, which has really made me come to some conclusions. And this is just my view. This is just my view. You don't got to get all butthurt and attack me. But from seeing how people act, seeing how family members and just people of the community I've stayed in as well, there's a very huge monitoring type of spirit that's among these people. It's kind of like the crabs in a bucket mentality. Okay, we weren't shit our whole life. All we did is sit around in a shitty town and put down other people and work against their lives. So let's come against anybody else who's attempting to make a strong foundation for themselves or try to escape out of the bucket. You know what I mean? That's what the vibe I get from the city I'm in. And not in a religious sense, But I can see why in the Bible it speaks about how, you know, uh, where you're from, you know what I mean? The prophet will be hated in their own town. And I'm not calling myself a prophet, but I'm just using that as an example. You know, you'll be hated in your own cities, in your own towns. So I know when it comes to organized stalking and gang stalking, it's very physical in nature. It's a very real reality which is being perpetrated by, of course, the government and people in those type of positions that are helping organize all this, as well as authoritative figures who are overstepping and basically violating people's human rights. But at the same time, when I look at it from a spiritual sense, I can see that, you know, a lot of this stuff, it originates from a very evil side of humanity. It originates from, you know, people's insecurities and projections. So they weaponize and utilize the miserable individuals in your environment that already gave up on life, that lost faith, that don't even have faith, that don't even stand for a purpose. The same people who will be quick to backstab their brothers or their sisters and sell out in a heartbeat, that have no principle, that have no morality, um, that, you know, that don't have a backbone. The same people that will have no honor to basically participate in something like this. So I just wanted to say, you know, one thing I've noticed about, many things I've noticed actually about the environment I'm in is I can see why, you know, some TIs talk about their whole towns or their whole cities, and a large portion, maybe not every single individual, but a large portion of individuals are participating in this and trying to come against their lives. It's understandable. To me, it's understandable because when it comes to my, speaking from my personal experience, when it comes to my own experience dealing with this stuff, I've seen that the things that I've seen here with the people coming against me, as well as family members and so forth, this is a reflection of the environment I'm in as a whole. You know what I mean? So that's why I say, like, there are spiritual strongholds, and this goes all the way up to the people who work for your city. You know, they got city workers in on it. They got people who are in city council positions. They got politicians involved. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff goes higher, down to the person on the street. You know, the everyday perp and gang stalker they send on foot to walk around in the hot ass sun. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be outside, for example, you'll be outside in front of wherever you live, just chilling in your car or right there in your front yard. All these perps who live in your neighborhood on your street, they all got houses with air conditioner. You know what I mean? They all got food in the fridge. They all got showers. You know, they all got the utilities and resources and the amenities of everything that you could need to have a comfortable life. And they'll literally have people in your communities who are part of this, you know, this community harassment, all this perping, sit outside just because you're out there in the hot ass sun, just to hear or listen or watch your every move, and then jump on that cell phone right away. As soon as you make a move, they're on that cell phone. So I don't know, that's it's kind of comedic to me. You know what I mean? Like, the irony of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not gonna use your house, shit, let me use it. Let me go sit in the air conditioner. I mean, cause you're out here perping in the sun. Let me borrow your house for a day. Especially being in Texas, it's hot as shit. So, you know, I got these perps coming out here cooking. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just wanted to say I've really noticed that about the town I live in. It's really, I can see why. And that's only, you know, me scratching the surface. Like, that's no telling what these people have done over the years. That's no telling how many people are doing life insurance policy frauds. That's no telling how many people are stealing people's inheritances, identities. That's no telling how many of these people, what they're involved in behind closed doors. I can only imagine how many people they've taken out with the help of law enforcement and fraternal orders, and because there's a Freemason lodge not too far from here. I mean, there's no telling. I might not have physical proof, but if something like organized stalking and gang stalking is allowed to happen here like this, if they got this going on, you can only imagine what other type of trafficking and what other kind of sick shit that all these people got going on. And what gets me the most, the irony of this sort of thing, is that everybody wants to project and act like you're weird or something's off with you or something's off with you mentally, when really you're probably the most sane and normal person in this whole environment. Because these people love to put on a front. I don't know if y'all seen that movie Get Out. It's kind of like that. A bunch of people who are well off with money, spoiled, grew up with the silver spoon their whole life, yet they're doing sick shit. Whereas the dude who went through life struggling or came from poverty or is just trying to get by is like the most normal dude out here. When you're a TI, at least. Because, they got a lot of people out here on the street who are already sold out to it, and you would never think they are. But yeah, that's just how I feel about this environment. Being in this environment, you can tell it's a very influenced, follow the leader, crabs in a bucket type of town, from what I've seen. So it's no surprise why anybody, especially somebody like me who is gonna tell it like it is, it's no surprise why it takes a group of frauds. It takes family to sell out. It takes whole communities to get involved in trying to manufacture or come against my life, which really hasn't been successful. But I just wanted to speak on that real quick. And yeah, like I said, here at this channel, I'm not making videos about other TIs. This ain't a drama channel. This channel is solely focused on what's really going on with this type of stuff. I'm not no professional spokesperson, and my purpose wasn't to do this for YouTube or any of this shit. That's the way it turned out. So if you don't like it, you don't gotta watch it, you don't gotta subscribe, you don't gotta like. You could just move on with your day, or you could cover your eyes and, close your ears or something. But to the real ones who know, they know what it is. A lot of these towns y'all are at, a lot of these environments, there's a reason why you've had trouble growing. There's a reason why you've had trouble making progress. Just look at the individuals, look at the history of where you're at, and then you'll start to see how many other people they probably did this to.